Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Heart and Hustle Houston, which this is season 1, episode 7. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video. You can subscribe if you are new, and you can go on and leave your comments. Now let's get into this episode. Okay, brief announcement / commentary on some things. I did not know if it was going to be the mid-season finale or not for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Carlos King said no the last week when they announced it, but I guess this week it is. They ended up pushing the hour up for Heart and Hustle for where it came on at 8 instead of 9 Eastern Standard Time, if that's the time zone you're in. So a little confused, because if you want to call that a mid-season finale on Love and Marriage Huntsville, that fell flat. And it's dumb to try to play some type of previews the way that they did. And this is the own problem. This isn't a Carlos King problem. The way y'all just kind of handle the scheduling and stuff and media stuff, y'all are quite janky when it comes to that. And not gonna harp on that, because this is Heart and Hustle, or Hustle and Heart Houston. Sorry, whatever it is. Y'all know. I'm sorry. This is their show and all that good stuff. Next week is the season finale, and I guess it gets a little bit spicy between some of the ladies, but we shall see. Tonight actually felt like a finale until the end. I was like, after Latoria's party, we could have wrapped this up, in my opinion. But anyways, to start things off, Latoria, she is going to be planning a party for her time that she has been a PR person within the entertainment industry. It's going to be her 16th year, so it's going to be Sweet 16. She's pulling together her team to get everything together. Chloe's there to help in orchestrating, because she's a party planner. And I've been waiting to see what Chloe gives as far as party planning, so I'm interested. Latoria gives us a little peep show of what the background scenery could be. All I can tell you right now, I think I need to take a trip to Houston. I've never been. I think I've been through Houston, or not, through Texas. My family used to take trips during the summer. My mom and dad worked for a company called Caterpillar. You would know that if you're in the Midwest, possibly a little bit south, but that was kind of the main frame. Outside of General Motors, there was John Deere, and outside of General Motors and John Deere, there was Caterpillar. So, anyways, back then, they used to have just 2 weeks off during the summer, and that's when we would take vacations, and then they changed it all up there. But anyways, we drove through Texas and all that good stuff, but I never, we probably stayed in a hotel. We didn't sightsee or anything like that, but I think it's time for me to at least take a trip to Houston, possibly Dallas too, because I do review this other show called Chasing Dallas, and I'm just interested to see what goes on in these vicinities. But anyways, yeah, seeing her, how the effects will change in the background, that it was pretty cool to see. Chloe and Latoria, they go off alone and they talk a little bit. They catch up, and they asked, I think Latoria asked in regards to her son, and she said, it was very much needed. He was expressing to me things that I didn't even really know what was going on, but it was a breakthrough that we had. He says that he doesn't really have a plan B as far as his rap career, that this is just it. I think some people online were like, how can y'all say that if he hasn't been in the studio? He has been in the studio before. He has just not been. He's been at a stop. Really been at a stop since his stepfather passed away and had to step up to be the man of the house. So let's not do that. But he opened up that he was depressed. And that's cool. And I think it's also cool that Chloe didn't notice. Chloe was grieving too. I wish, if they had more family members around, I wish more people were in tune to them going through this traumatic thing. I wish they would have observed all of this and said, hey, Chloe, instead of some new man trying to now dictate, and he don't even know the whole situation as to what this other young man is fighting, and now trying to say, you need to handle your boy here. He doesn't need to be doing this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And now we know that there was a lot of things internally going on with him. And he could have spoke up, but we can put that out there too, so that we can outweigh all the cons of this whole situation. He could have, but how? He knew he had a responsibility and he had to be strong for other people. Remember the saying, check on your strong friends? That could apply to Khloe's son. Check on him too. So anyways, LaToya's been in the entertainment business as far as being PR. And now she's going to use her resources to connect Khloe's son and whom she knows. She knows rappers and all that good stuff. Khloe said it didn't even dawn on me to actually talk to you about this. I don't know how true that is, but hey, I'll take it for story. We'll go with it. Not like you didn't even know. Come on, Khloe. Come on. Anyways, cute scene. Cool. I think all the single ladies, they go out. And they convene. And they just want to rap together, to stay connected, bond, Ro reveals that she quit all the way with the restaurant that she was at. She said that she was just tired of being this robot. And she did not want to keep being a broken record. She's been saying the same thing over and over and over and over again to her boss in regards to all this. She loves the job, and I think she's familiar with the people and all that, and she's just not happy because of where she is in her life. We are watching a woman on national TV transform her life right in front of us. I'm excited for season 2 to see where Ro is, because she's doing it in front of us, and that's a sight to see. We don't really get to see all that. Sometimes you may see a therapy session here or there, then we hear a wrap up if they get a reunion. I know they're not gonna get a reunion, they just started. But there's not a lot of follow through and follow up as far as what's seen on camera, so it's cool. And we've seen multiple episodes where I'm actually doing the work, and that's very, very, very good to see. LaToya talks about her date that Labrina set her up on. And of course, LaToya said, nice guy, but just not for me. And Khloe's like, keep the door open on some of these jokers, because you put them in the friend zone, you never know what'll happen. I think that anybody dating, have your non-negotiables. Have what you will compromise or just not a big deal on what you want as a love interest. I'll just say it that way, because it's just like, I think we can focus a lot on what you're not compromising and just leave out some of the other stuff that, because of this, does it outweigh, like, I think there's weight and balances in this whole thing. Like, having children and starting a family, I think that is a non-negotiable. We're just not going to see eye to eye. And I don't feel like you should wait around for somebody to possibly change their mind. Or in many cases, you force people's hand. If you want to be with me, you better do it. No. Because they didn't want to do it, and you just basically kind of just trap them into it to try to keep you. You holding somebody hostage for your dream. No. Somebody's out there to fulfill your dream. And they are going to be fulfilling your dream. Don't do that. So, yeah, LaToya, keep on looking. You worked hard in your 20s, and now you're at that good gap age to just, at least for the baby part, to go on and just see if you can go on and make this family that you want right now. It may work, it may not work, but at least you won't live in regret after working so hard in corporate world. So now let me put some interest and put some water and put some seeds down for my personal life. Labrina and her husband, I think it's Will, they talk a little bit in regards to Pops, and she just let him know what she talked about with Pops about his grades and all that. Like, we can't have this now, especially. So Pops comes in, and we get to the nitty gritty as to why this thing, as far as living some time with us and sometimes with your dad. Labrina's not at all against Pops spending time with his dad. He needs it. But at the same time, something's going on now that your grades are slipping. He says that he felt like he was always messing up a lot, and he didn't want to be a burden to them. Labrina was able to connect to it only because she felt like in her home that nothing was good enough, and she was doing everything she can to avoid being that. I'm gonna tell you this much: sometimes you can be so anti this and that, and you still haven't really learned the real tools from whatever you said I'm not gonna do with my children that was done to me. Or you could not do the same exact thing your parent did. However, still practice in the same avenue as doing what you said that you weren't going to do to your own children. Your son still feels like he's undervalued and always is going to be a burden. Your parents, because may have made you feel that way towards you in a different way. And it's great to, if I could be spiritual for a second, to be the liver, but also you got to put something else in you in order to now practice or to do something different. Put something in you, not just, I'm not going to do that, because there's always going to be a space and available open for that possibly unhealed person in you to still revert back to some of the practices that you said, I'm not going to do. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that made sense. Let me know in the comments and I'll try to be clearer. Put something else in you so that you can impart it into the next person. As far as you want to see change, be the change, it goes along that round there. But anyways, Will was like, I've always seen you as my son and not my stepson, da-da-da-da-da. And he was just truthful and said, it bothered me that you did want to move from us, Will did say that, you're never a burden to us. And he gets up and he wants a hug. And he goes in and hugs him. So he does love this man. And, of course, it is kind of rare to not try to treat someone that didn't come from you as a step or whatever, but to love unconditionally as their own. It's kind of rare in regards to that. So it's cool to see all this healing going on. Next up, Latoria, is it now? Yeah. Latoria, she's getting her face beat by Elena. They're using each other as resources on the show. I think it's great. And Elena is just getting her face beat and looks amazing. I think they kind of... Wait. Let me back up. While the single ladies were out, Labrina did text them and said, hey, I want to go to this winery or whatnot and just have a time for us to have some type of... Was it a hoedown kickback? She used some type of Texas word for it. Well, anyways, they're going to be having their first group trip. It's somewhere in Texas, so cool. I didn't even know Houston had wineries. I'm going to be excited for next week's episode. And hopefully we get some details as to the winery and all that good stuff. But yeah, so they were down for that. Elena gets Latoria ready and all that good stuff. And now it's time for Latoria's celebration, Sweet 16. She hops out of those sports vehicles. I don't know the car names, so don't get on me. Those Corvette looking type sports cars. All I know is Lexus, BMW, Rolls Royce, all them cars, But anyways, she gets out, she makes her entrance, all that good stuff. Go ahead, Latoria. She's got another outfit, which I really prefer that outfit that she mingled in. A lot better. It was a pantsuit, so. She's got everything because the theme was Las Vegas. So they had a blackjack table, all that good stuff. The 360 camera thing, I want to do that. But I got to be invited somewhere first for that to happen. Yeah, so she did all that. All that's going on. Everyone's having fun. Latoria makes her speech. And she lists a lot of her accomplishments. She's been with BET, Netflix, Warner Brothers, doing a lot of these collabs with top-notch people within the entertainment business industry. She said that she's going to be stepping away from the entertainment industry, that she has other passion projects and all that she wants to be involved in, that she's just done. She left her mark and she's leaving out on top. And then she dedicated everything to her dad that did recently pass away. Not a tear, not a dry eye. It was cool. It was cool. These parties are quite lit. And I'm not even lit like that. I'm an introvert, so leave me alone. Until I'm ready to not be left alone. And I'll tell you when I'm not wanting to be left alone. Yeah, so they did, maybe I shouldn't even list what I think in my head, but they did the slow wave. Is it a wave dance? I can't dance either, so. Yeah, they did that. Everybody participated in that. Boom. Next up, the wives of this collective group, they meet and they bond. Manura did say that she was glad that she was able to be open and vulnerable with Elena. Who else was there? Labrina did talk stuff with Pops a little bit. And they said, most of all, I think it's good that we can come together, and we know what it's like to be wives, we know what it's like to be mothers and all that, but just hang out and chill. Possibly something that the single ladies per se can't understand, even though you do have single moms out there. Cool. But having those two dynamics that you have to charter through on a daily basis, hey, let's just get together, let's be girls, let's do all this, da 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 da. And we hear from Elena as they're asking, how things with her and Josh and all that. She said that we're going to be going to our first couples therapy. And of course, everyone's excited about that. And at this point, Elena's saying, look, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I do as required as me as wife and mother. Wife to him and a mother to his children. And I need a whole lot more than what he's giving. And if he's not giving it, it seemed like an exit. Now, this is what I will say. I don't usually try to just stalk people's social media pages. What had happened was, back when Chloe was trying to say how unattractive, or she didn't say how unattractive, well, she did, Josh was compared to who Elena is, I'll say it like that. I said, well, let me go find out. I went to Elena's Instagram page, and I was like, oh. And you're wondering what, for the question that Labrina asked, so what's next if things don't work out? I think her Instagram page says it all. And at this point, since it's one more episode, look, and how the end of the episode kind of just pissed me off. I see none of Josh on there. She talks about being a mother. If you look in her bio, she doesn't talk about being a wife anymore. So I think that there has been some changes. What they are, I don't know. I think. But at least she's living separately on social media, just like she's in that room. So, I don't know. Anyways, it's therapy day. Josh, what are you expecting out of this? He starts using God. And look, always acknowledge God. If that is the person, or not the person, if that is the entity that you get your spiritual growth and spiritual health from, cool. I know I somewhat have to respect you guys as in whom you actually get your source of whatever you need to live out here on the earth. So anyways, I don't know, some people irk me when they start using God in their BS. That's what I mean. Like, somehow y'all just gonna use God and this and that. Elena did go on, she's just saying, how she knows she's been with her wife, been as a wife and all that. And their marriage started off in mistrust. I didn't get healed after he cheated on me during our engagement. And that set the tone of me mistrusting him throughout our marriage. And there's been things that he has done. He's not saying what needs to be said. And the doctor, the therapist, is asking him, what are the specifics? He pauses and says, I did some things. What is that, sir? Elena's still covering for your tail. I'm not saying that, how can I say this right? Love does cover a multitude of sins. That's a Bible verse. I'll just say this about Elena. I think I love that she's more assertive and she's just not, no, we ain't doing this. Not like this no more. Cover for him, I guess. It's just like, I'm not saying don't uncover him and expose him, but at the same time expose this boy. Because there's some ego and pride there. And he done did some stuff. And it can't just be, it just doesn't seem like it's just about cheating. We know about that. What have you been doing? And it seems like it's quite damaging or something that you don't even want to admit to. So Josh, I think until you're at least truthful about what's going on with you, you may have been truthful to your wife because possibly you got caught and you couldn't lie. But if you're trying to grow or whatever, you're going to have to just rip that Band-Aid off and just let us see the wound. Let us see what we all have going on here. When the doctor opens you up, he's not covering up something. He needs to see everything. Now, he's going to operate on the infected or damaged area. But we want to see what's up in there so that we know how to heal you. So, yeah, that pissed me off at the end because it's just like, This is too dramatic for me. We've been waiting since episode 1 to see what's going on. Yes, she's protecting him from something. So as I said, it's got to be something to do with his sexuality, or possibly he was doing something illegal, sexually, that he's not proud of really exposing to the world. I don't know, but hey, we shall see. But obviously he knows that this girl's not playing no more with him. All right, but that's all I do have for this episode. Thank you for joining me. Like this video if you are into Beauty in Black, which currently is streaming on Netflix. Tap into that. I have all of them up, all 8 episodes that did just get released last week. I kind of hate it that they're released all at once, but it's also cool to binge at the same time. But if you're in this YouTube space, content creating space, it can be a lot. A lot. If you like Beyond the Gates, I'm going to have a review later on for that for this week, since I've been missing a lot lately, and I'm going to be a lot more consistent and all that good stuff. And that's all I have. You know, just stay tuned to my channel, subscribe, hit the notification button so that you can be notified of what I got going on over here. I do, again, appreciate you all. And until the next one, peace.